Um, Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rest the Cases panel discussion on how to improve access to legal aid and justice for rural India. I am Rucha, and I will be your host for today's panel discussion. Right. So, if anybody has any questions related to the topic, you guys can put in the comment section, and all the questions will be answered at the end of the session. All right. Today we are diving into a crucial topic of how can we make sure people in rural areas get legal help they need. Right, as we all know that it's a big issue because many people in villages don't have easy access to lawyers or courts. We'll talk about ideas like bringing legal help directly to villages and finding ways to make it easier for folks to understand their rights. Okay, so if we look at the statistics, according to India Justice Report, before India entered the lockdown in March 2020, there were only 14,159 legal aid clinics for 5,97,617 villages on average. That is one clinic for every 42 villages, right? Barring Rajasthan and Gujarat. Other large states that saw reverse migration, such as Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh, have nearly 100 or above villages served by a single legal services clinic. Talking about Uttar Pradesh has the worst ratio at 520 villages for every clinic, while Rajasthan is at 7 villages per clinic. Now, let's start with how government and the people of India can help rural communities by creating legal awareness in the remote regions of India and more. Okay. Now we will start with the introduction of the lawyers and the panelists who we have with us today. We have Advocate Taranjeet, who is a distinguished lawyer specialized in commercial and civil law with over 15 years of legal experience. Advocate Taranjeet brings a wealth of expertise in governance, advanced contracting, procurement, cybersecurity, and technology law. For the past 2 years, Advocate Taranjeet has served as an independent counsel at Bombay High Court, where his legal expertise and unwavering dedication to his clients have earned him widespread respect and admiration in the legal community. Next, we have Advocate Shivang. Advocate Kumar Shivang is a renowned lawyer known for his expertise in criminal, civil, commercial, matrimonial, and 138 NI Act check bounce cases. As the driving force behind Advocate Kumar Shivang and Associates, Advocate Kumar Shivang has earned a stellar reputation for his unwavering dedication to delivering justice and advocating his clients' rights. Now he practices in courts like Delhi High Court, he practices in courts of Delhi like High Court and Supreme Court. Advocate Kumar Shivang brings value, experience, and a deep understanding of a legal landscape to every case he handles. Next, we have Advocate Siddhant Deshpande. Advocate Siddhant Deshpande is an accomplished legal professional with a strong background in criminal and civil law. In his 8 years legal career, he has practiced in several courts in Mumbai and Pune, including High Court at Bombay, city civil and session courts, as well as district and family courts in Greater Mumbai, Pune, Kolhapur, Ahmednagar, and beyond. Advocate Siddhant handles a wide range of legal matters from criminal and civil cases to family law and election matters. Advocate Siddhant is dedicated to providing comprehensive legal representation to his clients, ensuring access to justice across Maharashtra. Next, we have Ms. Shreya Sharma, the CEO of Rest the Case. She is a mediator and founder of Rest the Case, and her vision is to make it a one-stop solution for all things legal in India. She has studied law at Cardiff University, Wales. She founded this platform to make legal solutions and information accessible to all, no matter how big or small the problem is. So, before we begin, I would request you all to watch a small video about Rest the Case. I just think there's some technical glitch. We will be switching on the video in a couple of minutes. All right. So I think there is some issue. So we can continue with the video later on. We will start this discussion with a couple of questions we have right now. All right. So first question which we have right now is what are the various challenges people from rural India face when it comes to legal issues of law?
Is it open to be taken by anyone?
Yeah, sure. We can, like, anybody can like speak up whenever if they have like,
So, as such, this topic is a very complex one.
yeah.
And specifically, when we want to say that how to address the legal issues that are there in rural India, the first question comes to mind whether do these issues of rural India reach to a level that a judicial intervention is really required?
All
Because
right.
what really happens is where since most of us we live in this metropolitan regions, most of our work, be it a smallest of issue of getting a birth certificate issued wherein there is some amount of delay, or
Correct.
getting certain mutation done, or getting a probate done for a will, etc., we have to go to the court. There is no other option. However, when it comes to rural India, the actually speaking, the legislation has tried its level best to take care of most of the issues. They have
Right.
empowered the tehsildars, the district magistrates, the otherwise the officials who are there at certain level, and even the existence of gram panchayats are there to ensure that these issues of rural India are settled at that particular level only. However, it is mostly an experience that these issues don't get settled. Rather, they become even more complex because the authority which is there has not taken the entire situation into consideration and passed such an order that it has ultimately led to somebody suffering, irrespective of the fact that he was having sufficient grounds to claim his relief. So accordingly, the real requirement is to watch these authorities who are there and to ensure that they do their part rightly.
Correct.
Reaching to a judicial level itself is a question which should ideally not arise for rural India. And if at all it arises now, since that is the basic question, I would say if at all it arises, then yes, we have to understand that they do not have the kind of pockets to really litigate with the kind of financial backup that they can litigate in a manner in which a normal person would. So they
Right.
definitely require, the first step they require is that there should be a system which exists in the form of legal service authorities at various levels, uh,
Right.
who are actually even if the cases are filed at rural India, we see that most of the cases they get settled in national lok adalats and lok adalats for that matter.
Correct.
These kind of institutions are there, and the only issue is the efficiency, the kind of management which is required, and the way it is ensured that the right things are done. And if somebody has not done it the right way, then there has to be a punitive action, because most of the acts, if you read this specifically say that a person who is doing a judicial or quasi-judicial role on a
Yeah.
specific seat, there is you cannot really challenge that particular authority in personal capacity.
Right.
These are the areas because of which they take advantage at times, and then the issues become complex, and you can't really question them.
So how can all these things be overcome? Like, what can be done so that these things don't happen?
The first thing is that the legislature will have to tweak and add in things. They cannot have a fixed format for the entire country. They will
Okay.
have to consider these challenges which are there, which are very very visible. That if there is a port which is around 100 kilometers from a village, and if the village there is only 100 people who are there and they have an issue, then it is very very wrong to expect that they will be reaching that particular destination and litigating, and they will be litigating in a manner in which a general court functions.
Right.
So legislation has to do something. That is first. Yes, awareness reaching there. We hardly see a program of the way which has been conducted today, wherein we at least discuss whether there are these kind of issues, because that really
Right.
sensitizes you. Like tomorrow, if I am passing through a village, probably I would want to stop and meet at the panchayat level somebody, and try to see if I can contribute to some extent. So
Sure.
yes, sensitization, etc., which we are doing in the way. These are the most. But otherwise, if I would say that there is a defined way, there's a fixed way an opinion can be expressed, I don't think that is possible.
Right. What about you, Advocate Siddhant? What would you say about this?
Yes, just like Advocate Taranjit Singh said, that there has to be some accountability.
Right.
There has to be some accountability at the taluk level, the tehsil level. So you see, all the programs and all these things are already there. The state has to provide legal aid, and all these provisions are there. But what has happened that they are just remained in the books, and there is no implementation of it. And not just courts, not just the courts which we fight the civil cases or criminal cases in. There are multiple forums. There are multiple forums, like consumer forum is there. There is a forum before additional divisional commissioner. There is forum before collector. There is revenue forums. There are many forums which the rural people living in rural India, or rural areas, are concerned with those forums more
Right.
rather than these, because there most of the issues are for the land and for other things, and those things work in the prant offices, the revenue tribunals, and that. But there also you need to pay the advocate well so that they can represent you. So over there is no legal aid for you. In that forums you don't have legal aid.
Correct. Right.
That is the main issue, because the problems when I handled some gram panchayat matters, and when I was learning it, then at that point of time I knew that all this is being done, but in those kind of forums there is no legal aid. There are only district legal aid authorities, and that too there are certain problems, or what I can say. Everybody knows it, but I think nobody wants to do anything for it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, Advocate Kumar Shivang, what do you have to say on this?
Ma'am, actually, the voice is not coming. Voice is very much breaking, ma'am. Actually, the thing is that I'll be very much honest, ma'am. I belong from Delhi, and internet has been suspended in Delhi. And moreover, I'm traveling to Himachal. So, anyways, network lags in Himachal. I cannot, I mean, like, you guys are not audible to me. That's what
Oh,
I cannot even hear you all properly.
That's fine. I don't think that's
You
that's
you
an
could
issue.
you could repeat the question itself, and then I'll be ready to answer it the same.
Yeah, sure. So, my question here was that what are the various challenges people from rural India are facing when it comes to legal issues and law?
Ma'am, see, if we'll talk about this, no. So first of all, we really need to educate the ruler or the minorities people in our society, because first of all they think that the legal awareness is only for those people who are very rich, and legal awareness or legal task is not for the people who are poor, because they have this mindset that law and government runs only for the rich people instead of being for the poor people. So first of all we need to educate people that no, law is something which is for equal. It is dependent depending upon the equality.
Correct.
Now the foremost thing is that ki, let us let us imagine a people from rural background who is not educated, well versed, and what about if he's not educated, well versed, and he's not getting that legal.
Yeah, I think there is some network issue at his end. So maybe we can move on to the next question here so that we can continue with the session. So the next question is, what type of legal issues do they typically face in rural areas? Like specifically when we talk about the legal issues. I think he's back. Yeah, so would you like to continue your answer, or can I just start with the next question, Advocate Kumar Shiva?
You start with the next question. I'll just,
Yeah.
by the meantime, I'll just connect with the Wi-Fi.
No,
I'm
yeah,
just going to my room and connect with the Wi-Fi.
yeah, sure, yeah. So I'll repeat the question. So what are the type of legal issues people typically face in rural areas?
Okay, so basically, when you talk about a rural community in a village area, they are a very, very close knit community. They live together. Most of them they know each other,
Yeah,
and being myself being part of we roots belongs to villages only. When we go out to village, we understand that the basic industry over there is agriculture. So there are always succession related problems which they face. They are not completely mostly they are not fully aware of what specifically is their rights, especially after the ruling of the Supreme Court of India, wherein they equated in Hindu law the daughter with the son. The
yeah,
confusions crop in. Even today, there is a very, very strong and clear belief that the daughter doesn't have a right as such once she is married off.
correct.
Another issues which come across is the small fights which happen there because of the communities being sub communities being formed, the caste and other things. And when those kind of issues come which actually take a color of a crime, a criminal thing happens, then it becomes very complex, because who is sitting at the chair, who will be the first authority which they will be approaching. It really depends that where is the that particular individual towards his bend is towards which community. So those kind of things keep happening. Then the evidence, which is very crucial whenever such a thing happen, maybe even a small robbery is happening, or something is just somebody has had a fight. One community will only speak about their community, and the sanctity of the evidence is lost because of that. The first defense which an defense counsel will take is simply saying that he belongs to so and so community, and that is why he is giving such a statement. However, it won't stand. So those kind of issues are there always, and it is very difficult to manage them. And to really, one of the best solutions can be that when you are appointing an authority, you make sure that he's a neutral person. uh,
Yeah,
for example, in jails, if you go to jails, then the core jail security is never of that particular state. it belongs to the other state. Like in
Right.
Tihar, if you go, the most of the core security which will be placed over there will be either from Tamil Nadu, Kerala, or some other location. Even they will not even know Hindi.
Yeah, so that there won't be any they won't be biased.
These kind of checks and
Yeah.
balances will be required. Otherwise,
Right.
there are systems are there, but then how those systems should function is another challenge which is in front.
Right. Sure. What do you have to say about this, Advocate Siddhant?
What I want to say is that the things which the people in the rural areas face, the matters which they come across are mostly property matters. Most of them are related to the property or a small area of the house or related to those things. There are some criminal things also goes on. It is not like that it is different in rural or city areas. Criminal things goes on in every area. There is no what I can say. There is no bar to it. And majorly these people face is the property issue, the issues related to the properties and the quarrel in between them. So if they could approach, just like he said, a good mediator where they will not be dragged into the courts. Instead, they could be solved with alternate dispute resolutions. So that kind of facilities shall be made available to them. So that in alternate dispute resolution, they will not go into the courts. Just like in family matters, we say when we come across family people. So our first lookout should be to be settling that, not dragging them
Yeah.
into the courts. And that's what the court always suggests whenever you do that. So
Okay.
settling is the main thing. And the next thing, what has happened in rural areas, that is because of illiteracy. So no matter how many apps and how many things you make to tell them or to reach them, but what has happened, you just cannot know the law by just having a plain reading of it.
Yeah.
You have an advice who has been practicing it, because the plain reading of law will tell you nothing, because you have to know the interpretation. That's why those programs which has to be carried out in those rural areas shall be more one-on-one rather than indirect.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I hope your network is now better, Advocate Kumar Shivam.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. But,
Yeah.
but I cannot guarantee because hills nobody knows. I cannot guarantee.
No problem. So you want me to repeat the question which I just asked?
Definitely you can.
Yeah, so I just asked that what type of legal issues do typically the rural people from rural areas face?
That's what I'm telling you, know, that first of all, they are not very well educated. That first of all, they think that this law or legal thing works only for the rich people. They don't think that, okay, this is for in an equality process, that okay, law is equal for everyone. So we should consider them and we should give this them the knowledge that okay, law is for everyone, not for the rich, not for the poor, not for the middle class or for the upper class or for the rural or the urban one. It is for everyone. Now when we have to create legal awareness, we should make them sure that they should know their legal duties, that whatever if they face in future, they should come and speak up on the topic what they are facing, instead of having this trauma that what will happen or what society is gonna say or what not. So
Yeah.
let us first of all educate them that okay, we have legal system for you, and let us continue with the legal system for the betterment of the society, irrespective of whether it is rural or urban.
Correct. True. Yeah, sure. Let's move on to our third question, which we have. That is, how can teaching people about their legal rights help them stand up for themselves better?
Simply saying, it is less of a question, more of a statement that yes, if we do this, if there will be an awareness, if people will know that what really is their right, they will accordingly seek the remedy at the right place with the right people and in the right direction.
Yeah.
When there is ambiguity, they will not. Now, just coming to a small example, you see, when you live in a metropolitan region, if it so happens that somebody goes to the police and he complains about you, and the police finally concludes that whatever has been said is a bailable offense, they will just call you once and give you a bail on by taking either a surety or your personal bond. They will take and they will give you this that the bail, and then thereafter, if it proceeds further, something happens, or it will be closed. Ideally, it will be
But
difficult.
sir, excuse me, sir, I would like to interfere you over here, sir, that you cannot get bail directly from the police station or from the police. You have to apply bail in the court afterwards.
Yeah, true. True, but in a bailable offense, police has got certain powers that they can. If it is a non-bailable offense, they definitely go to the court. Now, just coming to the rural side, what really
Definitely.
happens, what really happens is when you go to the rural India, this power with the police doesn't rest. This power is with the district magistrate of that area, or the judicial magistrate first class who is there, or second class rather, I would say, who is there. So when we go to rural India, it suddenly changes. You have to, even if it is a bailable offense, you have to go there. So now, just trying to understand by this example that why if those who are at metropolitan cities go to the police station and get their bail, and thereafter at least they are not running around. But when a bailable offense happens there, then of course police will not arrest you, but then you have to go to the court, surrender yourself before a magistrate, and you have to take that to bail in most of the rural areas. So these are the kind of things which are there. So because of this, awareness is one most important thing. But along with the awareness, even better systems which suit them better. Because I really don't, as a person, don't really appreciate that if there is a simple thing which can happen in a police station there itself, and a person can be relieved, then why he has to move around?
Right.
Thank you.
Advocate Siddhant, you have anything to say on this?
Major thing about the legal literacy, I may say, that there is no specific data collected on it. There are multiple types of data collected, but there is no such data as legal literacy,
Right.
so that we can assume or we can speculate that how much people know about their own rights.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing comes that why is it not there? The main crucial point of this discussion should be the finance, and just like everybody knows that finance to the judiciary and finance to the legal education and finance to giving the legal education to the lowest rata is very less.
Yeah.
And the advocates who are working in the rural areas also, what are they trying to do? Is that they are knowing the law and they are trying to misuse the law because the other people are not knowing it. That is what the practice is, I may speak straight. That is what goes on in many areas.
Correct.
When you learn anything about law, you should not become an elitist, that you know something better than others. And that's what every lawyer, if they may follow, of course, very few will, then this literacy could be brought.
Correct.
Then this literacy could be brought that whichever client comes across you, whether he may have money, he may not, you may take meager fees from him and try and help him out. And try and tell him the actual what the problem is and what is not. You cannot, when you start to mislead it, then you are yourself are trying to misuse the law.
Right.
That is what things are happening. The second thing is the competency. See, when I am at a legal aid panel, I am on a legal aid panel on district level, if we say, then what the government is paying is nothing. Okay, so consider me as a entry level lawyer. When I'm entering this field, I don't have enough to survive on my own, first of all. Then I go, after 3-4 years, I go into the legal aid panel. Okay, I try and do the matters. I take up the matters because I have to take up the matters when you're on the panel. But the government is not paying me enough even to survive. Even the Xerox money, even the money for the Xerox is not being provided clearly. So then how can you say that a competent lawyer could be available in the legal aid? How
Right.
can you say that? Because the competency here depends upon other things. So there will be very few people which you will find that they'll not care about the money and they'll still be fighting, just like a person who has given him lakhs of rupees, and just same for the person who has not given him lakhs of rupees. So there is a difference
Yeah.
within the services. There should be competency, and there will be no competency unless and until you provide good money, at least money for survival.
Right, right, right.
That is the issue.
Fine. We will now move on to our next question. That is, what are some examples of successful, innovative technology solutions currently being implemented to improve access to legal aid in rural India? In what other ways can public and private sectors help the unprivileged communities?
Again, I would say that when we talk about the technological advancement, it is very difficult to say that it has benefited the rural India or not. But
Yeah.
yes, if it is there, then at least it is not that if you go to rural India that everybody is on the same line. They have their relatives, they have their family members who have gone outside and doing, at least they can access those informations and provide them. So it is
Right.
a welcome move. It is always helpful. The more the transparency, the better the administration of justice can happen. So,
Correct.
so the ways in which the digitalization of lot of tehsil level registers are happening, the way their informations are available online, the way the e-court system is giving a lot of information online. What has happened on, like for example, if there is a case which is started against you and you have not received the intimation in timely manner, in the right manner, or at least you can go online and check if there was any adverse order passed against you and you need to do
Mhm.
something immediately or not. So those kind of things are definitely there. Now the onus of taking these kind of initiatives and giving them a better judicial, I would say, lies with the rural India themselves. If they really want to access, then they have, the Constitution of India has empowered them. They have their panchayats through which they can have better programs which are more suitable to them, instead of someone who don't really completely understand their requirement trying to devise something for them and then trying to provide them. They should rather form up in a better way at panchayat levels, and they should demand what is required. And I don't think that such a demand will ever be denied. If they can,
Yeah.
rather, they're empowered to themselves do it. They will have their
Correct.
certain amount of funds, and they can definitely do with that.
Yeah. So, Advocate Kumar Shivang, what is your say on this?
Ma'am, see, when we talk about this, no, so first of all, we do have, uh, like, if I'm talking about Delhi, so we do have this Dalsa and all. So,
Mhm.
what happens that this Dalsa makes sure that whatever there is, there is a region covering rural or urban within the Delhi NCR premises. So, Dalsa is the one which provides aid for both of them. And when we're talking about the rural side of the capital city, so even nowadays the rural side of the NCR, the Delhi NCR place, they're all equal. So you
Yeah.
cannot differentiate that they are now belonging from rural society or this urban society, but they are now very well educated when we are talking about the nearby areas of the capital. And Dalsa is the very, I must say, the prime factor or the prime thing which plays role among both the communities and both the groups of the society,
Okay.
irrespective of the majority and the minority, ma'am.
Right. Right. Yeah, sure. So, Advocate Siddhant, what's in your mind? What do you think about this?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just forgot the question.
Yeah, so no worries. I will repeat the question for you. So, I just said that what are some examples of successful innovative technology solutions currently being implemented to improve access to legal aid in rural India? And in what other ways public and private sector help can help the unprivileged communities?
There is a difference between having legal information and having legal aid. The e-courts and all those kinds of apps have, of course, help, but they have given access of legal information. They're providing any aid. They're not doing any aid to those people. So what the solution must be, and there, see, maybe there is no funding from the no good funding from the government, then the private sector has to enter.
Yeah.
Then multiple NGOs has to enter this arena, just like Bajaj is there, then Infosys is there doing some CSR on their part. So such people have to enter this arena, and also the bar councils which are working in a specific district at a specific district level, that bar council should also ask some fees from their members, could ask some fees from their members and create a corpus
Yeah.
to provide legal aid on their own level,
Correct.
regardless of the state legal services authority, regardless of NALSA. Whatever aid NALSA and state legal services give, each and every bar council could take up this initiative,
Right.
and all the lawyers could pay a normal corpus, and the corpus should be created.
Sir,
Then the
sir,
people who
but
are coming
sir,
there
sir, but
should be done.
one moment, sir. When you are saying no, that the bar council should take the initiative, it is not possible for bar council to take initiative at every state for everything, because after all, what happens at bar council of all the state is governed by bar council of India, and bar council of India will never allow to do have this thing, because there is a difference between bar and bench, and when the bar is doing, then the bench will also demand the same for the betterment of the bench people. So
No,
bar
I
council,
am not saying that you take it officially. I am saying it that all the bar members could meet at a different place, and you can do this unofficially also. Nobody will know it.
sir, but then unofficially you cannot do it because it will lack the professional ethics. It will
Just
lack the
like
professional
just like
ethics, sir.
it will just work like an NGO without forming an NGO.
But you cannot form NGO or kind of such thing, such like that thing, because see, first of all, this law profession neither comes under this NGO thing or the commercial thing. So you cannot even, for example, जैसे हम advocate advertisement नहीं कर सकते हैं. So
This is not advertisement. This is social justice.
I'm giving example. I'm not saying that typically that कि हाँ ये नहीं होता है या ये ऐसा होता है. What you are trying to say, you are very much correct at your end, but I'm saying that if this initiative should be taken up, then this is not possible for all the lawyers, because now here we are three advocates. Okay,
I'm not saying that make it compulsory for everyone. You just take from those who can give.
that's what I'm telling. No, now suppose here we have three advocates, right? Now you two advocates are agreeing for the same. I am not agreeing for the same. What if I file PIL before the Supreme Court that this is the factor going on? Then the onus of the proof will be upon the person trying to have.
See, when you try to do some new things, there is going to be a PIL, because there is a PIL for anything, right? Anything these days.
That's what I'm
PIL is
telling.
just
No, ki, that's what I'm telling.
a different whole different.
That's
game.
what I'm telling.
PIL
It's,
is not,
I can.
PIL is less public
See,
interest.
I
It
can.
is become a publicity
No,
interest.
see, I can have my own group of 10, 15 lawyers and go and have PIL. Then this will automatically,
Yes, you can always pursue it.
it will be
It is
for
your
another
right.
2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
It is your right to pursue it, and it is also my right to defend it.
Definitely, it's other way around. But then we cannot have it on unofficially purpose. We will always have it on the officially purpose. So why not have it on
What has
officially
happened?
purpose?
What is the problem is everybody wants to discuss the problem and condemn it, but nobody wants to find an effective solution regardless of any other things.
Sir,
Then you can condemn.
Sir, I tell you
can
what,
condemn
what,
Nalsa.
what right now you said no. So there are differences between the counsels and the advocates also. Now, for example, one advocate is charging 25 lakh rupees per hearing, and one advocate is getting 100 rupees for just the appearance. तो यहाँ पे भी डिफरेंस है ना,
Yes,
तो वैसा ही सर यहाँ पे भी डिफरेंस है।
difference
तो
तो
एक
है.
एक माइंडसेट से नहीं लेके चल सकते।
We are not compelling. I am just telling a theoretical solution where there will be no compulsion on anybody to give that corpus amount or to give that amount. There will be no compulsion on anyone. There it will be completely a voluntarily corpus which is collected
Then
voluntarily.
let's then
Just
let's
like
then
if I
let's
want to
have
give,
it other way around. Let's have it other way around. We
What
should
I
not
think,
count it. We should not
sir,
count
is
it.
what I think Advocate Kumar Shivang and Advocate Siddharth, both of you are speaking really valid points, and both of you are right at your end. That is what I feel. So, yeah, so if we discuss about it, it might take, even a date for this.
moving on.
Yeah, so
Advocate Shiva will discuss it
we
later on.
can,
Definitely, sir.
Moving on.
sure,
Definitely, definitely.
Same views. It was good to
no
really
problem.
listen.
Yeah, so next question,
But
which
it's always good to have a good conversation like this.
sure, we can, we can. So next question here we have, that is, in what ways can policy reforms be enforced to address various barriers to access the justice for legal communities in India, and how can community-based approaches play a important role in encouraging fair and equitable dispute resolution process?
Okay, see, when we really speak about communities, I just a small thing comes into my mind. That is, even when we go for litigation, and there is a certain amount of say civil litigation, and there is a certain amount of things which are being discussed. At that time, there is one very significant factor, which is customs and traditions. So what communities can do is they can have their custom and traditions more formalized.
Right.
That is first thing. Secondly, when the litigation happens, then if that the kind of issue which is there in front, it is
Mhm.
it is based on which really is not a personal in nature, but then the conduct of the community, and there are certain amount of disputes which are arising. So when communities can be more formalized, not in a way that they become extremes, but formalized in a way they conduct themselves, if at all they want to remain in the community, and they can keep it on a formal nature, I think they can have a better way of resolving. Rather, they will not even have to go to courts if they have set rules and the way they want to practice it. And if the set rules are there and which are happening from a quite long time, then a court will also accept it.
Right. Uh,
Major policy changes, I guess. Major policy changes should be the first policy change that should be is the change in the fee structure of the legal aid panel advocates. When that is been achieved, when that policy is implemented, naturally all the things will get better.
right.
That is what I think.
And what about you, Advocate Kumar Shivang, if you have anything to say on this?
Ma'am, to be very precise, first of all, when the clients come, no, they have this thing in their mind that कि हमारा काम फ्री में भी हो जाए, ठीक है, हमारा काम फ्री में भी हो जाए, और क्या कहते हैं, हमें पैसे भी ना देना पड़े, और वकील हमें 2-4 हजार रुपए और ऊपर से दे दे कि हमारा खर्चा हुआ है, डाइट मनी मिल जाए हमें, ठीक है। तो वकीलों, क्लाइंट का सबसे पहला तो माइंडसेट ये रहता है।
Right.
और सबसे बड़ा ये चीज है इन दिस प्रोफेशन की, you will give your 100%, but when it comes about to take the money from the client, you cannot take the money from the client directly or indirectly. So you have to apply your brain, and you have to apply your brain in this manner that the money should come and the
Correct.
fee should come irrespective of what he or she has committed to do so.
Right, right, right. So in that case, what you do?
What I do, see, I'll not disclose this thing because this is a platform going on and everyone is seeing this thing. So if I'll be giving my tips and tricks, so what about if my client in Delhi will see and will say, okay, sir, aap ye karte ho. So this will not be a beneficiary thing for me. I should not disclose this thing right now.
Right, right, right.
क्योंकि मेरे भी हाथ बंधे हुए हैं कहीं ना कहीं.
That is true.
Interesting, like he told about all the lawyers going around.
Correct, correct.
Exactly, you have to. I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Even you are in the profession, I'm in the profession. आपके पास भी client आते होंगे that sometimes people, client, they say कि sir आप ऐसे ही कर दो हमारा काम, हम तो बहुत परेशान होके आए हैं, and they demand
Yes,
उनको
yes, sir. Yes,
2-4 हज़ार रुपए दे दी, लो भाई
I have
तुम्हारा
done.
खर्चा हुआ है आने का.
I have done those pro bonos. I have tried to help people, and it has turned into ugly thing. I've been there.
प्रो बोनो का मजा तब है कि when you know that something is there, the benefit. ठीक है, until and unless there is no benefit, there is no importance of getting this pro bono thing.
Actually, when this discussion happening about the fees and all these things, I understand it's on a little lighter note. At the same time, what I would say, what really conspires out is that I have been to some of the rural places which are near to Mumbai, not really completely rural, but semi-urban kind of places. And what I find is that the issues which are there in these trial courts are there in the metropolitan magistrate trial courts also.
Yeah.
The only thing why when we are living at a metropolitan region, we are able to get justice a little faster is because we move faster. We get our orders, we go for appeals, and we keep moving. Many of us get our relief from Supreme Court of India, but then it's very difficult for a community, for a person who's living in rural India to even think that I will reach a Supreme Court. Like I remember there was a case which came to me, which was a criminal proceeding, wherein once I took him to the High Court for quashing of his FIR, his entire, including the police station, was really surprised. They said that how can you go to High Court? Nobody goes. They would settle their matter inside the police station in however way it is possible, once the FIR has been done. So the real issue, talking about rural India is one, but at the real issue, core issue remains the entire judicial system has to.
Mr. Taranjit, I would like to interrupt. I'm very sorry. I would like to interrupt here, but you know what? When you are saying no, that when you took your client for quashing of FIR, so this is the very prime thing that you have to, guide your client, and you have to motivate your client that okay, your case is still not over, because when they get the orders from the trial court or the district court or something, then they say कि हमारा तो case खत्म हो गया है, and then they give zero damn for FIR. ठीक है, उनको then they come to realize this after 10 years, 15 years, when they face problem in getting passport or government jobs. First thing is this. ठीक है, now when you said कि कहते हैं in metropolitan cities the things are faster, you're going for appeal and something. ठीक है, so also there are advocates like you. I'll say for your example only that okay fine, I find you a very better advocate, that's why you're taking your client for appeal if you are not satisfied with the lower court order. ठीक है, but what happens ki, for example, I'll give you my example. What happened, my client, he got the order for the recovery of amount. So the amount was 10 lakh rupees. He got the order and he said कि sir अब पैसा कब मिलेगा, order मेरे favor में हो गया. But I said कि this is just the order, you have to go for execution. So these are the little basic things what the clients or what good advocates, or a lot for good advocates, just a normal advocate lacks, and then they don't give the proper guidance and proper knowledge to them. Okay, so they should make this thing aware, and this thing is compared with the first question what the host asked at the prima facie part. So let's have this thing in the discussion also when it is compared to the prima facie part what the host asked this thing.
I may not sound very rational, but then just speaking about the tradition of advocacy, we all know that the gowns which we wear, it has got a small pocket type of structure which is behind us. In the olden days, an advocate would not even say what his fees is or what he wants to charge. He would rather just go and represent his clients, and at the end of the day, see that how much money they have put behind their
Yes.
gown, right? So that is the kind of system. If it can come in, it will be beneficial to all. That as you said, I understand what you really wanted to say from those perspective. But that is the kind of culture which can come of course it cannot come in this in the present scenario. It cannot happen that you have a pocket behind you, but that kind of understanding, that kind of culture, if it can come in, then it becomes easier for all the people who are involved. Law is required. As a community, we will always have difference of opinion, and somebody will have to resolve it. And if it is not resolved in an efficient manner, then we will have a society which is with unfulfilled issues.
That is the thing. Finding out issues is quite simple. To address them is difficult. Just like Advocate Taranjeet Singh said that people from rural areas, how much chance has they got to get relief from the apex court? How much chance do they have? It is a very meager chance. Only if a motivated lawyer who knows that for his reputation he'll play that case and he'll take it in Supreme Court and he'll get the relief, then they have a good chance. Otherwise, they'll have to arrange some money because that is what is there. Supreme Court. If you want to reach Supreme Court, this is a very complex way and very, what I can say, it is very expensive. And basically, nobody knows about the original powers of the Supreme Court in rural areas. Then it again comes to legal literacy. So these problems go round and round. Everybody is going to shift the blame, this, that, but nobody is going to find a good solution out of this.
Right. Okay. So you were Advocate Kumar Shivang, you were saying anything, or can we move on to the audience questions now? We have many questions which have
Move
come.
on to the audience question. Move on to the audience question.
All right, sure. Okay, so the first question we have here is, what do lawyers think about pro bono cases? Are they keen on taking such cases, especially from rural areas?
To be very honest, these days lawyers are least interested in taking pro bono cases.
Why is that so?
Because if lawyers are gonna take pro bono cases, how they gonna settle themselves? How they gonna start their life? How they gonna have their own life? Every life has the own lavish lifestyle. If we are going for pro bono, I guess if today I am going for pro bono, and for the client, if I'm going for pro bono, the next day, tomorrow, I'm going for a cup of tea, he or she will not serve me because his game is over. Aap kaun, main kaun?
Right.
Why should why should lawyers go for pro bono until unless there are benefits, as I mentioned earlier only?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I would say it is a very individualistic decision. Sometime it will happen that you will definitely take a pro bono case, provided you are convinced that the client really requires that kind of assistance. Because sometimes in the guise of pro bono, even a litigant who is capable of funding his own case is before you. So you have to see, that is one. Second is a lot of, especially just speaking, like if you want to tomorrow get appointed in High Court or Supreme Court as a judge, then there is a specific requirement wherein certain number of pro bono cases you should have done. That is one. Second is sometimes pro bono cases really add into your experience also. So if there is a case which can really add into your experience, because otherwise if you are not I would say if you are not in practice, then you are out. So yes, pro bono cases people are keen to take, provided they have that kind of a real requirement. It should not be in a guise of being pro bono.
Right.
Just like Advocate Singh said, you have to filter them. You will have to have that good intuition that which case really needs the attention and the need for pro bono, and which are under the guise of the pro bono. You have to. That is it completely depends on you, that how well you can understand what other person is saying by his body language, by his multiple traits, so that you can flag the fake pro bonos, which come across many a times. That is the truth. Many a times, such fake pro bonos come across. They tell you we don't have money, and then you see them roaming around in Bangkok. So
Right.
that's the case.
Yeah, so the next question we have here is any thoughts about how we can improve the human rights violation in rural India through legal help? For example, few caste people treated badly over others in some rural part of Bihar. How can we help them?
So to take care of these issues, definitely there is a legislature, there is a SCST Act which is there existing. Then wherein the act, the any person who has done a crime which falls into that particular category, then the actions are very stringent.
Yeah,
However, when this question, when I hear this question, it is basically it means that the kind of infrastructure which is there, so because of which they are not able to get and their human right violation happens. So the real requirement is to have sensitization programs, to have clinics, to show the open doors where they can at least walk in and have their like in you say in medicine there is a first aid. So
yeah,
similarly, if they can have their first advice in the right direction, they can take. So then these things can definitely be taken care of. That's all.
correct. You have a say on this, Advocate Siddhant?
So I'll skip this question. It is a bit
No
different
problem.
quality.
That's completely fine. Anything from your side, Advocate Kumar Shivang? Okay. So let's move on to the next question here. That is, what is basic legal awareness? If you want to answer it first, Advocate Siddharth.
It is a very ambiguous question. What can be actually said as a basic legal awareness? In
Yeah.
studying law, I don't think that there is anything basic here. Everything is important. And first of all, you should know the rights. Everybody knows, but every person, regardless of his profession, should try and read the Constitution.
Right.
That would be the basic and the foremost legal awareness you will ever get.
Fine.
Okay, I just add a small thing that when it comes to basic education, it's very difficult because we don't know law as such. So what is basic, we don't know. So just coming to day-to-day activity, like everyone should know basic first aid. That is what I believe that everybody has to know. You don't have to be a cardiologist, so you don't have to really know the specialization of law to live. To live, what is required is the basic education. Like
Right.
if you have committed a crime, then what really you should do. If you have hit somebody on the road, then what really is required, what really will happen, and where you should go. What is the evidence that you should keep with you if it was not your fault? So these are the small things which you're supposed to know. You're not supposed to really read the entire thing.
Fair.
Even today, if we read the law, we don't really understand everything. We have to go deeper into it.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
basic. And I am of a strong opinion that law is a sacred knowledge. It should remain sacred because if everybody will understand it, then the manipulation which will happen will not be, nobody will be able to control that. And then the rule of law will as such fail.
True. Yeah, so next question we have here is what are some misconceptions or myths about legal system or courts in rural communities?
This one is really difficult for me to answer. Yes, Dant, if you were taking it.
Biggest myth is about that judicial system is working with dates and dates, and all the problems are caused due to the lawyers.
Right.
That is the biggest misconception, because sometimes we don't have all things in our hands. See, we are just going and representing there. We are doing our best what we can, but sometimes some things go out of our hands, and we cannot do anything about it. That could be considered as a misconception of
You
the
know,
legal system.
but in specifically in rural communities, what do you think about them? Like not in general, specifically about in rural
Rural
communities.
communities, the normal, the regular myths are there, just like no one should enter the what I can say, the steps of the court. No one should enter a court. Court कचहरी नहीं चाहिए. Court कचहरी
Right.
court में
Just
जाके
adding to that,
ताला पीट को नहीं चाहिए. That is the main. That is
that
their core myth.
That prompts me that what one of the biggest strongest myth which I have come across is that once an issue has been, authority which is there, police inspector, SHO, or Tahsildar has taken a decision, going to court is of no use because the decision is going to not change. That
Right.
is the one of the which is faced, because the fact of the case is what is more important.
Sure, sure.
Exactly.
Okay. So now, like apart from any questions, do you have any thoughts on this particular topic you would want to share with us?
I think I have spoken a lot. I don't qualify to end it that way. Let's hear it from Siddhant ji if at all he wants to add something.
Yes, yes. I have already said what I wanted to say. It was
Okay.
a bit controversial. It got into a debate with Advocate Shivan. But I think that we have to try out some ways which will not be on paper. Because if you bring
Right, right.
everything on paper, then it becomes difficult. We have to
Sure.
try out some ways which are out of the paper, but they are in the interest of public justice and social
Correct,
justice.
correct.
You have to opt some ways out of the box. You
Very
cannot
true.
always be regulated by anything.
True,
For the
true.
purpose of social justice, I am saying. For the purpose of business, another thing, you need to have regulations. For the purpose of social justice, you can sideline some minor things, and we should leave the technicalities away. That who will question and who will not, and this and that. You have to leave some technicalities away to address those issues. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, sure. Right. Okay, so now I think it's time to conclude the session here. So it was really nice talking to all of you all and having you over. Right. So it was overall a great session, and we got a chance to understand the scenario of legal awareness in rural India even better. So, on the behalf of our team, I thank all the panelists for taking out time from their busy schedules to be here, right? And thank you to our audience as well. This event would not have been the same without you all, right? So, we after the event, like after the session, I would like all of you all to go check our website as well. That is www.resthecase.com. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.